All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Today, I believe we are in store for a roundtable discussion in this community. But before we do that, I will pass it to Matt Bogosian for some updates. So, Matt, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. August 25th. This is AMCC's National 30-Minute Call. Same time every Monday, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, 9:30 Mountain, 8:30 Pacific. I'm Matt Bogosian, Executive Director of AMCC, the nation's manufacturing community of practice. David Van Sicklen is our Operations Director, and we have lots of BFFs, including Michelle Burris from the Century Foundation and all of you that are have this weekly check-in. 30 minutes every week. It's been happening for over a decade to level set for the week on priority work to strengthen the cornerstone of the American project. Welcome. If you're new, please just put your name and affiliation in chat and use the chat, to share best practices. Some Mondays we have a presentation. Other Mondays, like today, is just a roundtable. We're focused on what we need to do to produce priority products with stronger, smarter, a more robust ecosystem of support. That's the lingo that we use around the different component parts of a manufacturing support network within regions. And every region has a different set of public, private, nonprofit stakeholders in their regional manufacturing ecosystem of support. And how do those work together, and how do we craft interventions to have better outcomes for the priority products we need to make, and the people making them, and the communities that they work in. Regions 20th century wise and still today traditionally compete with each other, which can be a race to the bottom, undermining our economic and national security. So until we get better structures in this nation, we need to, find places where collaboration makes sense, and that's what AMCC is all about. We have lots of priority products to make, and so there's a lot of good evidence showing that many regions across the country can and should have their own role to play in producing those priority products. And we talk sometimes about, the best evidence, that's been put out there in books. Two things I was thinking about this morning, getting ready for today's call, is this book called Innovation in Real Places by Dan Bresnitz, and then this one that's been around for a while, Jumpstarting America, by Jonathan Gruber, where they actually list, a bunch of cities around the country that are poised, for a manufacturing renaissance. I actually interviewed Jonathan on our Manufacturing an American Century podcast a while back. But that's a very hopeful sign that, we can really have some kind of a hub and spoke system throughout the country where we have many regions around the country having a meaningful role in producing those priority products. So anyway, that's what this call is about. Having better structures, of course, begs the question, how do we get there to produce those priority products? Having these touch points a couple of times a week are important, but we got to get to the structures, which is why we've been pushing this request for information for a new national manufacturing strategy. Those responses are due September 30th. We keep putting it in the second thing we do every week, which is the AMCC update. And we also put out, and David's dropping this stuff in the chat, we put out our draft response with four big ideas. One is focusing on producing those priority products. Two is identifying the critical nature of the ecosystem of support. And, we have on our website, we talk frequently about the big six, starting with workforce, but there's 5 other elements of the big six in regions that have to be, operating sufficiently for manufacturers in that region to thrive. That's why we're working on this manufacturing community ecosystem metrics tool and playbook. We've got the 1.0 version of the playbook where you use it, give us feedback. We've got a partnership with Argonne National Laboratory and NIST and a bunch of federal agencies and Deloitte, and working to try to get to the next step with that. So that's our second recommendation, is focusing on the ecosystem of support. The third one is a big one, to get the feds working together um, uh, on the ground in regions with some kind of manufacturing collaboration centers. And then the fourth draft idea we put out there is to have a manufacturing core, because we need people, right? Workforce. Where's that workforce going to come from? So anyway, those are four of our big ideas that we put out as a draft. We'll be perfecting those as we get toward actually submitting it. So anyway, you can send us your ideas around those or any others about the RFI to inform what we submit, or you can just submit directly to the request for information on that. So anyway, before we go around the room today on a roundtable call, I want to hit a couple of highlights from the AMCC update. Talked about relationship building with this call and the update every week. That's good, but relationship building also has to happen in person too. And we've been a part of, that's why we were part of leading these manufacturing momentum summits for the last 3 years. We do these in-person AMCC roadshows. And we encourage every state to have a state-led in-person summit of some sort. And one of our leading states, Connecticut, has one coming up. And Connecticut's Department of Community and Economic Development is hosting a Connecticut Manufacturing Innovation Forum. And I don't know, David, is Carmen on here?
Hi, Matt. I'm
Oh,
on.
you are on here. Okay, good. Yeah, well, you want to speak to that real quick and the kind offer you guys are giving AMCCers? Yeah.
Yeah, so the state of Connecticut's having a manufacturing innovation forum event, and we wanted to make sure that the AMCC communities knows about it. I don't know, David, if you could put it into the chat, the link. The hope would be to encourage as many people throughout the country to come and join and see what we're doing here in Connecticut and share our lessons learned with others. I know that Michelle Hall is working on it and is offering the ability to provide a discounted rate for anyone that's coming and would like to attend. So, Matt, if David could just put that in there, and if anyone's interested, feel free to reach out to me or directly to Michelle.
That's great, Carmen. And it's super important to see how other, regions are doing it. I know California has an annual economic summit that we've participated in, and we've been to many states where there are these kinds of convenings. The in-person thing matters too, so having this weekly thread, of course, is critical, but also the in-person is super important. And then from the update, there's another in-person event that we in Michigan, similarly, our BFF Dan Radomski at the Centropolis Accelerator, they're having a summit September 30th. So lots of good things that are happening in person. We encourage you to share with us the things that are happening in person in your state or region so that we can elevate those, and not just that they're happening, but like how they're happening, because that's part of the best practice development, is, as how do states or other kind of regional actors lean into weaving together the ecosystem of support, thinking about the big six, right? From workforce to entrepreneurship to capital access to infrastructure, etc. So no one's got that dialed. The weakness of our structures in this country, make these kinds of activities all the more important until we get better structures in this country. So thank you, Carmen, and that. So those are the things I wanted to highlight in the AMCC update. There's lots more in there, but let's go around the room a little bit. Gloria Berlanger, I got your note. Thanks for your note this morning. Tell folks where you are in the country and your role in the manufacturing world. Yeah.
Yes. Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure. Gloria Berlanga, I'm the defense sector liaison for the business development team with the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation. So essentially serving as connective tissue between the state and the defense sector. And as many states have pretty robust defense sectors, we're no different. So we've got primes, a lot of small, innovative, robust startups, and some strategic level influencers like Newark and the Naval War College. So it's been a real busy time, kind of hitting the ground running. I hit my 1 year anniversary in 2 weeks, so still learning, and have been spending the last few weeks actually taking a deep dive into the draft response and trying to work with some of the key stakeholders in our state, to provide you with some meaty feedback. So we're working on it.
Thank you, Gloria. That's awesome. And that you mean the draft response on the request for information? Yes, for a national
Yes.
strategy. That's
Yes.
awesome. And Gloria, thanks also. Gloria is one of the many that are participating in this maritime ecosystem exchange. We have a partnership with NAM to build the relationships in regions that are taking an active role in the maritime shipbuilding. We don't have a national strategy for shipbuilding, and so we learned through our partnership with NAM and other stakeholders that we really need to kind of lean forward in the maritime vertical, we call it. And so we have a monthly cadence of meetings with those regions and some key stakeholders in the shipbuilding that's going on. So thanks for your participation in that, Gloria. And not far behind that is going to be an aerospace ecosystem exchange. So more to come on that going forward. So folks that are new or haven't introduced themselves for a while, these roundtable calls are great calls to just raise your hand and say where you are in the world of manufacturing. So Roy, Dickon, welcome. Yeah. Oh, we can't hear you, sir.
How's that?
Perfect.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
I'm Roy Dickens, CMO and AI optimization architect at Strategic Value Plus. I help manufacturing leaders implement practical automation solutions, digital twins, predictive maintenance systems. All of this supports reshoring competitiveness and delivers operational resilience, particularly for supply chains. So that's where I come from. I'm
Great,
in North
Roy.
Carolina.
Well, North Carolina. Well, thanks for being on the call.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. And use put your name, affiliation, your whatever you want in the chat. Also from North Carolina, it's good to see Emil Runge. How are you doing, Emil?
Doing great, Matt. Wonderful to be back. Started a new role at Launch Chapel Hill in January. We actually are running accelerators. So an accelerator we did in collaboration with KPMG the first half of the year. Four of the companies were in the Industry 4.0 space. We're teeing up another accelerator starting 2 weeks from today. Another four of those companies will be in different versions of manufacturing out of the 10 companies that we've got, including fermentation manufacturing, collecting neurodata, and other areas more in these companies happen to be more in the biomanufacturing space, although we do have one that may have defense focus in more the traditional construction manufacturing space. Thank you. Wonderful to be back.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I wonder, I bring this up. I was thinking about Dan Radomski. He's got this hard tech accelerator in Michigan. Like, I'll be interested to find from you, Emma, over time, what you think are kind of the best practices for setting one up, right? Because that's something that, I think a lot of regions would be very, very much interested in. Yeah.
What we're doing specifically with this one, Matt, is for those companies that have gotten to that product level, because, working with a big four consulting firm, the goal here is try and help folks find an initial or early client or customer. And so it's specifically geared more from a go-to-market strategy perspective. We're not necessarily trying to help build up the tech side of it. or the manufacturing side, we're specifically trying to go ahead and help find a first or early customer.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And Dan, I called your event out. I see you're now on, Dan Radomski, about your event coming up in September, which is good. But it's getting best practices on these kinds of accelerators, I think, is super important, a piece of the work that we're doing. Other folks, raise your hand, say who you are, where you are in the ecosystem of support, if it's been a while. Let's see. Well, yeah, from our federal labs, Jack Katofsky, always good to see you. Tell folks where you are and what's going on in the federal laboratory world. Yeah.
Well, good morning. Nice to see everybody. I'm Jack Katofsky from Lawrence Livermore National Lab, and I run our micro nanotechnologies area, helping our lab engage with CHIPS Act and lots of other outside interests. We just joined last week a meeting as fresh new members of the California Manufacturers Technology Association, and joined an aerospace oriented meeting in Sacramento. So we had a number of folks from our Innovation Partnership Office and our Office of Government and External Affairs. Those were our two, both government and private, sort of facing parts of our lab that help us engage outside interests. And we're eager to help national as well as state activities. As a lab sitting in California, are happy to engage that manufacturing association. So that was fun to join that event in Sacramento, and I saw Amy Schultz there from Sierra College. I'm not sure if there are others that are here that were also at that Sacramento meeting, but it was a pleasure to meet some state reps there interested in a variety of things, including fighting wildfire. And that's an ongoing issue naturally in the West and other parts of the country. And our lab is specifically developing technologies across a broad set of technologies of early detection from space assets, as well as ideas for protecting structures to prevent loss in wildfire. So I'll leave that at the update for now. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, Jack, thank you for modeling the kind of integration efforts, between federal interventions that are important, like our laboratories, and state government. Super important. We've reported to this group over the years, and AMCC has participated in trying to make that weave come together in jurisdictions everywhere. California has got, some good momentum right now in the state government leaning in, but through a structure we've reported through the AMCC update and whatnot. And they have an economic summit coming up, like I said, and we partner with CMTA. Lance Hastings and I, Jack, have been part of the California Forward Economic Summit work, hoping to have a set of recommendations for state government to do more to lean in on manufacturing priority products. Dean Peckham, yeah.
Hey, thanks very much, Matt. Just wanted to, continuing the California theme here, we have an event coming up in Woodland, which is just about 30 miles from Sacramento, coming up in October. The International Forum for Ag Robotics is hosting an event here in the Sacramento Valley, end of October. It's sponsored by the International Forum for Ag Robotics. So in keeping with the ag theme in Northern California, partnering with UC Davis and the various ag partners in the region, will be hosting an event here, expecting about 2,500 people attending this event over 3 days. So it's the other side of the California economy.
Thank you, Dean. Let's see. Well, let's see. How about Gretchen Moore, Women in Manufacturing? We need a lot of people.
Hey,
and
Matt.
we have a lot of women, so let's make it happen, Gretchen. What's happening there? Yeah.
Hi, Matt. Thanks. I am walking right now, so I'm not going to come on camera. Yeah, we at Women in Manufacturing, we have our annual summit coming up this year. It's our 15th anniversary, so we'll be in Chicago October 12th through 14th. We have a ton of great content on everything from AI to workforce development to trade to navigating tariffs, and we'll also do a lot of plant tours. There's some great companies located in Chicago, so we'll be doing some great plant tours there as well. And we're expecting about 2,500 participants to join us. So it'll be a good time with lots of great information. So I dropped the link for that in the chat, so as well as my email. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime.
Great. Thanks, Gretchen. Beverly Lee.
Hey, hi, Matt. My name's Beverly Lee, and I'm an Economic Recovery Fellow from Tennessee. I'm also the
Yay.
chairman of the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation and a retired colonel in the Air Force. And so I'm located in Tullahoma, which is home of Arnold Engineering Development Complex. And I'm not sure if very many of your listeners know who that is, but it's basically the world's largest and most advanced aerospace testing facility. China's probably up there with us right now, but we have a surge of about $3.5 billion coming into our facilities here in Tennessee, and it's going to they're upgrading and new test facilities for all kinds of hypersonics and different things, as well as we're going to be increasing staffing in both the U.S. Air Force civilians as well as contractors. And so I've been on and off your different Zoom meetings for about a year now, just listening and learning. But we are definitely looking at what you're doing with your workforce, because we are plussing up on our workforce. We've got one of my jobs as the ERC is to make some great partnerships and relationships with the community so that we can create the workforce we need. The state of Tennessee just purchased 1,800 acres for a new industrial site. Arnold Engineering Development Complex itself is 40,000 acres. So now they have 1,800-acre industrial park. They're hoping to get more aerospace and defense companies there. But the state of Tennessee has done some great work as far as having the Tennessee colleges of applied technology, which help our welders and build and industrial maintenance and those type of CTE type careers. So we're doing very well, but we're a small rural area, and we're competing with a lot of folks in Huntsville and Oak Ridge and Ohio and Texas and stuff. So we want to make sure that we're creating the proper types of training programs for our workforce development for digital engineering and things like that. So I'm grateful that you have these roundtables, because I've learned a lot, and I look forward to learning even more and contributing if I can anytime in the future.
Oh, yeah, it's great to have you a part of this, Beverly. Delighted that you're here. If you could grab my email, which I put in the chat right off the bat, and send me a note, because I'd like to set up a call with you, me, and David just to talk about your experience. And with the Economic Recovery Corps is very cool. I was talking about that RL5, right? That's like a baby step toward a manufacturing corps in some way. That could be. So it'd be interesting to get your experience there, but also we've got this aerospace ecosystem exchange that's going to follow the maritime one. So we could chat about that too. Thanks so much, Beverly. Appreciate you being on and coming on and getting to know us, and yeah, that's awesome. All right, other folks, step up, or I can call out. We've got a couple of minutes left here. Let's see. Kathleen Kosmosky at the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Like, every part of the ecosystem's got to lean in, right, Kathleen?
That is correct. I'm wondering why you keep calling on me every week. You like me so much?
Well, you got to be watched, Kathleen. So, yeah. No, it's great. It's a challenge, right? Getting all parts of the ecosystem to lean in. And Kathleen, you guys have done some important early work in trying to get community colleges on the workforce front to focus on that. What are you thinking, like, your next steps in doing that work here? Yeah.
So we're continuing to reach out to community colleges. We have a goal. Right now, we're engaging with 57 community colleges from across the country. And our goal is to reach 80 by the end of June of 27. We actually think we're going to hit that this year, so we're very excited about that. But so we're starting to do our recruitment now with new colleges. So if there's anybody out there that has a connection with a community college, we'd love to, to have that introduction to them so we can reach out and explain to them about our community college engineering pathways program. It is free for colleges. There's no cost to them, but it's just us coming in, bringing the resources and support of ASME to help support and build their students and provide additional education and training that the college may not be able to support them with, so that the students coming through the community college pathway are ready for the next step, whether that's transferring to a 4-year or entering the workforce. We want to make sure that they have the knowledge and skill set to be successful in that next step. So yeah, just continuing the engagement. And then once we're working with a college, it's how do we help them, get introduced to the other companies or industries that are local to them that they may not be connected with, and how do we continue to build that ecosystem within their local community, but also within their own college. A lot of times they're not talking with another department, so we start to help with that process as well.
Well, we appreciate the teamwork and you keeping a continuing thread here with this group, and we'll do the same with you. This is awesome. We have just a couple of minutes left. David, we need to emphasize next Monday, Labor Day. So no call. We don't do calls on Mondays for Labor Day. Anything else that, David, we should report?
No, that's it for now. We'll be back on September the 8th. Right now it's a roundtable, but as always, this is a place for all of you. So if you've got a new program, project, maybe a challenge or topic you would like us to focus on for a Monday call, please just send me or Matt a message. I've got most September dates open right now if anyone's looking to present to the group or knows of someone else who they think would be a good presenter. So again, just send us a quick email if you've got thoughts on that.
And then David, on the chat, people like Deb Franklin of Wichita State just dropped something in the chat there. How do people get access to the chat items later? Can they get access to them later?
You can ask me. I'm happy to share them. You
Okay.
can also click on those three little dots in the top right and save the chat before we close out at the end of the day to your own computer. But
Great.
I have
Great.
all of them. So if you need one, just send me a message.
Awesome, you guys. As always, thanks so much for taking a half hour every week to lean in into the ecosystem of support. We got a lot of good hard work ahead of us, and it's going to take teamwork. So thanks so much. Have a good week. Have a good 2 weeks, because we won't see you until 2 weeks from now. So take good care and be well.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.